Hello, everyone. Just in case you missed my voice from a minute ago, we have another wonderful race here on the ALTTPR League 2. This one is between the Tile Roomies and Error 216. Two high octane teams here, 15 points apiece. This is a spoiler key sanity. If you don't know what that means, essentially, as soon as our runners start, um, there is a second person on their team that receives the spoiler log. They do not receive it with any sort of heads up, so everything is done on the fly. You're going to see a lot of skipped stuff, some probably pretty low percent stuff, and just a general amount of insanity going on. So strap yourselves in, and if you're going to grab something to eat or something to drink, do it now because there is going to be absolutely zero downtime for these races. And with that, we are underway.
And it's our Herapod and Ice. We're gonna get
Herapod and Ice, you said?
Alrighty, and yeah, I'm Hammer
Herapod
Rolf. I haven't mentioned that, and I am joined in the booth by Clearmouse. Hello.
So bombs on tier 1 or 8 bombs on the crab.
Hey, how's it going, Hammer?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm watching a spoiler log race, and I don't know if I hope the seed is terrible or I hope the seed is nice. I'm kind of undecided.
You really want the seed to be nice, right? Because, well, especially for thalane, he actually ran a seed earlier, and you know it would be quite a nice break for him if this was just like a very comfy seed. How's that?
That's fair. I mean, I guess that's one way to look at it. But on the flip side, as we do see two different ways of getting bombs here, bush crabs dropping a bunch and the tier 1 pull also being helpful. The seed that I piloted for my my wonderful teammate earlier today required 3 double dips, so I'm not really in a very forgiving mood right now.
You know, you got to break the cycle at some point, Hammer. You can't just have the fun extend to the next team. How's that?
No, I want the misery to continue.
No way, man. Actually, I don't know if you saw like the earlier match. I guess that these two teams ended up playing. It was boosts required, but the boosts were in GT, and you had to get the boosts for GT Big Key. So they basically went the entire time without boots. So we want to hope that something good is gonna happen this time.
All right, fine. I guess you've won me over. Let's hope for a nice seed for our runners.
It would be great if we could just get boots.
No,
we'd be happy
kidding.
with boots.
I'm kidding. I still want torture. Hey, well, there's the
GT
Big
Key. Yeah, speaking of, we have a GT Big Key already. And you actually see that the lane here probably being told by Dunka is like, you don't need to get all the chests, just get the important ones. Actually, just like jmeasher too.
Yeah, a couple of chests skipped on either side there. jmeasher also not grabbing the bottle, so wonder if that's going to be a thing that's going to be required immediately afterwards, or if it's just a situation where, hey, grab the bottle if we go to Pyramid Ferry or Waterfall. You might be able to fill it with something useful.
Yeah, the no getting bottle is actually a bit interesting. Especially, it looks like it was actually. I mean, it's pretty along the way, but I mean, I don't know if you're playing against something like the lane, you kind of need a lot of time save, like as much as you can possibly get. So. Speaking of, we got a hammer off of Bottle Merchant, so it looks like that early money is actually very, very important.
Yeah, and at 3 minutes in, we're a moon pearl away from Dark World access, so that's something always fun to think about.
Yeah, don't you want to go into Dark World on, I guess, 4 or 5 hearts or 6 hearts and green mail? And hammer? And glove, I guess?
I'll tell you what. How about I pilot the seed instead, and
you're right. You can't. You got to share the fun, right? Oh, interesting. Okay. You don't actually get to see often, especially in something like this. That while it's somewhat like on the way, you don't really see people picking up these like not required small keys, right? Skullwoods, Mire. But if something, let's say, is in Pinball Room, this is gonna be really good for routing.
Honestly, if there's anything in Skullwoods, it's helpful to grab a key, just because then you don't have
That
to
is true.
worry.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about route. Yeah. So I guess if you don't get. So I guess like if there's something in the pinball room, you don't get stuck. Are you watching the sync like right now? For these two different owners?
Yeah, this is relatively sync. Hello.
Oh, we got boots! Oh my god, this is so exciting. Thalane, I'm sure, is happy. Ari, don't be jealous. You know, Thalane is just getting boots time for both of you, and you guys are all a team. Just remember that. Interesting though. jmeasher decides to skip out on Link's house for that pod key. So like you can never have enough pod keys, but we can actually see that pod. It looks like actually is going to be a pendant. So maybe we don't have to go in there at all. Or if we have to go in, it's going to be in like, you know, shooter chest or like bow alongside or something.
I mean, technically, if you have a bow, you only need one key to go back there and beat the boss. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, but it's also kind of interesting that like jmeasher in this case didn't pick it up, right? So like either, you know, well, I'm sure there's going to be another, probably at least one more time they're going to stop by Link's house again. So maybe he just didn't, you know, need it, or I guess the hope is that, you know, they just don't you don't have to touch any pendant touches today.
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen one of these go that way. That would be kind of fun.
I mean, that would be great, right? I mean, so, okay, we're optimistic, right? We're hoping for good seats. Remember this early? You know, we don't want anything bad to happen to them. We already got boots, like, you know, 4 minutes in. Already things are going, you know, looking up.
Yeah, we have boots 4 minutes in, and we have the book to check the pet. It's great.
Oh, I see we might be thinking about different angles here.
Speaking of different angles, there is a small key to TR, so that's always fun on the account of things that are usually required.
Yeah, well, so it looks like actually we can see some a crystal onto the rock, so we're gonna need at least 3 small keys. If something is in the vanilla big key chest, we're gonna need all 4 of them.
And it looks like we're taking that book and those boots, and we are just making our way over to desert. Wouldn't say no to a sword at this point. You know, like a 6-minute sword is pretty optimistic thinking, but when you got the boots, just like, come on, give me a swingy.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct. You know, we always love starting boots, or as boots as soon as possible, but without that sword, and this is actually one of the main complaints about against swordless, is we really are not being able to take full potential or advantage of the boots that we have.
Dash at your own peril. Hello,
Yeah.
Pearl.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So far, I guess looks like desert is the place to go. That book looks pretty dang required, or at least so far.
Yeah, we'd need quite a few more items to be able to get that moon pearl the other way. And while I'm not saying it's impossible, I'm just saying flute plus mitts plus a mirror.
Yeah, probably not going to happen here in Light World. Okay, so thalane ends up picking up another pod small key. So of course, you know, this is still pretty early on in the game. You know, pilots are frantically searching through the spoiler log, and sometimes you don't actually know necessarily if you need these items. But you know, especially if they're here in desert, right? It's especially with boots. It's very fast in order to get some things. So maybe just pick it up, you know, sooner. Like now, you know, just as a precaution. Instead of you like going over to pod and then you'd be like, oh no, I need another key, and then you have to come back. That's going to be like a multiple minute time loss at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the first things as a pilot that I try to do is to check off some of the optional stuff as best I can, as I think the lane forgot that you didn't have a small key.
That's well, that's unfortunate. But at least good thing we have the boots to make this slight detour, scenic route, just a little faster.
Yeah, just ended up giving the door a little bit of a kiss there, but unfortunately not opening for him.
Alright, okay, so we do see actually jmeasher here in Waterfall. So maybe that's right. Okay. Thalane's actually doing some good game knowledge here. Sometimes can be commonly seen in spoiler log races especially. Is that if you need a small key, and the one that's actually buried somewhere out in the world is somewhat more difficult to obtain, you can always just go to the back and steal a small key. And there you go, you can get to the right side. For today, Desert being the crystal, we do have to get that small key eventually. But good thing with the spoiler log, and Dunka, his pilot, is going to make extra care that they pick it up before they end up killing Landmost.
Yep, I am kind of interested to see what's back here, since jmeasher did not decide to come grab these items or worry about them at all, so...
Yeah, right, and sometimes, like, I don't know if it's just considered experience, or maybe just, like, or maybe they just don't feel, like, comfortable, I guess, stealing the small key. But it's certainly something that I don't think a lot of runners end up doing. Or at least some runners don't. Alright, so Thalane ended up picking up... Oh man, that is really worthwhile steal! Holy cow, so Thalane picked up blue mail and a sword? You were talking about those swinging things, right, Hammer?
I was, yeah, and I wouldn't mind a change of clothes too, so that's a really nice grab over there.
Yeah, so Lane's gonna be set basically, well, I mean, ideally we would take Temper Sword, eventually, but I mean, the fact that he just has one sword out of this is already, like, miles beyond what we already had just for, without a sword.
I know these guys are good, but I wouldn't exactly call 5 Hearts Blue Mail set. I'm pretty sure they're hoping for a little more in the way of help.
Just, okay, so maybe like 6 hearts, is that what you're saying?
I don't know, I want like 12, so...
Oh, well, alright, yeah, that sounds pretty comfortable, 12 hearts. I don't know the last time I've actually seen a spoiler log race, by the way, with someone having 12 hearts. Like, that is a lot of safety.
I mean, usually they end with somewhere between like 9 and 11.
Yeah, that might be, yeah. And depending on maybe like the level of competition and like the comfort level of your runners, that's actually something I think that is pretty imperative, at least for the pilot and runner, is the pilot should know like what the runner is capable, and the runner is also partially responsible for telling the pilot, like, you know what, I really don't want to go kill Moth on like 5 hearts and fighter sword. Can you find me like a blue mail, or can you give me a master sword or something? Right? Like, you don't want your runner to die. Like, that's probably one of the most important things in pilot spoiler.
Yeah, it also does depend on what the seed gives you, because sometimes your runner says that and then you go, well, I don't have one for you, so just
yeah,
hang in there, bud.
It's all, I mean, there's a lot of communication teamwork, certainly between, for these types of races.
And
certainly very underrated.
And screaming, a lot of screaming.
Well, that's why, we don't have some of their mic audio on today, Hammer. We've got some pretty chill tunes instead.
Nice flute. That's one of those things that's on a list of things you won't say no to.
Yeah, especially, I think it would be really great if we could get a mirror, because, they're kind of in the area of activating the flute, so it's super convenient.
Yeah,
and we all know that seeds are very convenient, right? They're always going to get you stuff exactly when you want them.
Did I tell you about the seed that I piloted earlier today?
You know what? My memory is like a goldfish, so if I don't remember it, you never told me, and therefore I'm still right. Yep. That's my story, and I'm gonna stick to it.
Are you gonna remember that you stuck to it?
Well,
Yep. Oh, look, it's a big key to Turtle Rock. I swear, these seeds like throwing TR keys at our runners.
Yeah, it's surprising, actually, because normally you would expect to find more hotkeys, but like, Turtle Rock small keys sometimes can be quite troublesome to get, but yeah, actually, we might have more upfront than expected.
It seems to me like TR keys fall under one of 2 categories. They are either everywhere or nowhere at all. There's nothing in between.
Alright, so we do actually see jmeasher in Thieves Town here. Unfortunately, he doesn't have that sword that Thalane ended up, quote-unquote sequence breaking, but basically stealing the small key from the back in order to get. Thieves Town's going to be actually a bit more troublesome for jmeasher, especially compared to Thalane when he goes there. Just because part of the appeal of Thieves Town when you have boots is you get to make all these nice dashes, right? And you can see that jmeasher has to constantly stop his dash because of the enemies, because he doesn't have a sword in order to ward them off.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Thieves Town attempts to offer something to jmeasher before the blind fight. If we get, it'd be really great to get a sword. I wouldn't say no to something like Burna either. You'll want to be careful because these crickets hurt.
Yeah. I mean, so I was yes, hammer blind while it is possible. It's not a comfortable fight. I mean, it's really possible. jmeasher is very well practiced. It is usually something that, as you said, if you can find Burna, if you can find another sword, it is significantly, it's significantly more, I guess, up your alley.
This is also the second seed I've seen today that has mitts in Thieves Town, and I've commentated both of them.
Yeah, well, a good thing that we have gloves, because then sometimes if you come here with no gloves, you can't lift this rock, and no matter how hard you try. So, whether this is intended or not, and I think actually potentially is actually intended, and this actually could be a pretty good play for on the lane side, was when he stopped at Waterfall Fairy to get his difficulty this time, he had an empty bottle, and I guess Waterfall Fairy was giving away Golden Beast today. He went back when he activated, in order to sell the Gold Beast to the bottle vendor, so actually now the lane actually has pawn money, which currently jmeasher is a couple, teens of rupees short.
And that is part of the knowledge that can be required when you're doing crazy stuff like this. Resource management is fun. So is execution. Say hello to 7 Hearts, Swordless.
7 Hearts is certainly not, it's certainly better than like 4 Hearts, right? That was a really good dodge on those fireballs, jmeasher. Like, Toad just literally fit through everything. What the heck? Oh my God.
We're 7 hits in, and he's taken 2 hearts of damage. So does it?
He just needs to survive this one last phase. Yep, very well done.
And that was a spectacular fight for the first crystal play.
Yeah. Of course, thalane, unfortunately, so thalane, even though he only has 3 hearts to his name, he'll probably get up to 4, maybe 5 by the end But thalane also has blue mail, and he has a sword, most importantly. So of course with the sword, I did hear that there is some sort of script that you could follow to kill blind. You'll have to confirm that for me though.
Oh, is it in one of those maps that we pick up? Because I haven't seen it.
Well, we did pick up a piece of paper on blind himself. Do you think that'll help after we kill the boss already?
Not unless you have a time machine.
Okay. Well, actually, if thalane could read the map from jmeasher's side, then he'll know how to kill blind. And actually, that is one of the, I guess, differences between most races and spoiler races, that you're actually allowed to watch your opponent's stream.
That segue was absolutely insane. I'm just throwing that out there. That was one of the most unbelievable segues I've ever heard.
You need something to talk about, I guess. I'm always a big fan when people end up picking up these, it's like, I won't necessarily maps, but I like compasses, just because they also, help us, the commentators and viewers, also kind of keep count along the items that, that our runners end up picking up.
So, speaking of advantages here that the sword gives, jmeasher just had to singularly hit every single one of those hammer.
Yeah. So this is another one of those, like, you really appreciate a sword, or you take things for granted until you realize you don't have a sword. So one of the nice little perks that you can do with the sword is you can actually hammer dash through all these pegs. Something very satisfying and fun to do, but without that sword. You can still dash. I mean, you just can't dash with the pegs. That's all. So it's much more frustrating.
Yep, you can dash and you can bonk.
So I guess, so it kind of makes me wonder, like, where that Desert Small is buried at this point, because, the fact that, so not only was it efficient, of course, on, thalane and Donka's side in order to get it, when they were at Desert, but, if it's buried somewhere, we might not be able to see Blue Mail and sword for quite some time on jmeasher's side.
That's true, but then on the flip side, if it is super buried, it's not necessarily something that jmeasher's going to have to go get.
Yes, that is certainly true because there was no thievery. He can actually just take it, under the pot and then go straight and kill them. Alright.
jmeasher giving us a couple new checks here. Small key to GT and a bow!
Hey, that's a really nice miner shed. A bow looks pretty required. We do see that Eastern is a crystal. Probably something about those mimics if you don't want to clip anything up in upstairs GT. That GT small though is also really nice, just because it'll save you some time. You don't, let's say, have to kill the mini helmet upstairs or something. Or if there's maybe something that's maybe there's like a third sword southwest room or something, right? Then you've got the GT small right there for you.
Yeah, there's.
Good job, thalane. we apparently want to flex our strength there after getting the mist from Thieves Town in order to pick up that chicken.
What do you call those? Are they zombie chickens?
They're bone cuckoos. You're right. I guess I don't know.
All right, so jmeasher is in Paradox Cave. Skipping the two on the bottom or top, depending on what you prescribe to in terms of Paradox Cave referencing.
That is why it's a paradox. We don't know the answer. But hey, we found a sword! and a shovel. Okay, and a shovel. Good thing we have a spoiler log hammer!
Can you dig it?
Where are we digging?
I don't know, but I got puns and spades.
I remember now.
Did you miss me? Not anymore.
Man, well, I mean, it's been a while since we come. I mean, like some of the first races that we did, right? Were spoiler races. I think was it 2 years ago now?
Something like that.
Something like that. Maybe it was only last year. I don't know. Time seems to warp, just like in paradoxes. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Don't mind me. Alright, jmeasher here is in Eastern Palace, very shortly with thalane, with that bow, of course. Did they end up by chance picking up the Eastern Big Key?
Not that I saw. It could also just be hiding in here. That's
yeah, that's something definitely. If you're planning to see that spoiler log, you don't want to find things in their either vanilla or French vanilla locations, because you would really like to have the big have everything that you need to beat the dungeon before you come. Great. Thanks.
So what was that about French vanilla?
Yeah, you know what? I was also saying earlier that the seed just really likes to place things in convenient locations, right? How convenient do we have a seed here that just gives you the big key in its virtual player? So convenient, right?
I mean, if you're playing spoiler log, I guess, because it's there.
Yeah. Okay, but maybe it looks like this is going to be the extent of the required items maybe in this dungeon. We did see them skip Cannonball, we see them skip the compass chest. Looks like, though, unfortunately, there's going to have to be something here in the middle of the big key chest. So no lamp means I guess we're going to do this in the dark. But certainly this is Invitational League. These runners have been here for playing this game for quite some time. I'm sure they won't have any issues, especially when they got that sword.
There's a really quick way to get through that room with the hook shot. You can just hook shot to a pot, go up, hook shot again, and then hook shot way back over to the left. But it seems like a Stealthos gets in the way every stinking time.
It's almost as if he's trying to get in your way, and he's like, "Oh, you can't see me? Let me dance around in the dark a bit to make your life harder." Wait, so we just found a lamp lock fire rod. Interesting.
Alternatively, you could be somewhere that's not terrible, thanks.
I guess we can only get partial convenience from the seed, right?
It's random. Be lucky you got partial.
It is random. You know, and of course, you know, what are some of the banes of existences of, you know, seeds? What ultimately, you know, they always just turn into some ice rod hunt. You know what? The ice rod hunt ends today because we've got spoiler logs for our pilots.
Oh, why'd you say that? It could still be behind like a 4-sphere set of checks.
I mean, yeah, but then that's the runner's problem. That's not the pilot's problem, right?
It depends. The pilot still has to figure it out.
Well, I mean, just the pilot's just like, you know what? Here's the ice rod. You can figure out how to get there. Oh no. Oh, that was a really nice recovery on Jmeasher's side. Yeah, that was. I did not think that he could make the second Ivor, but you know, he's certainly played this game before.
Speaking of playing the game before, that is a really nice Armos quick kill, and a bit of a high five in the boss room.
Yeah. Yeah, the lane here is, you know, very barely behind, just in terms of crystal completion, and, you know, the lane's already on the crystal cutscene chest. Differences, though, I think, is, you know, the lane has done right side desert, because he stole the small key, and then I think jmeasher went up to Paradox Cave, right, and got his sword and shovel.
Yep, that's correct. Oh no, are we doing this now?
Oh, so jmeasher might be making the lane's favorite play, which is going to Ice Palace.
And the lane might be going up to Paradox Cave to get another stinking sword before he goes in that direction.
You do point out something, well, yeah, right, so the fact that the lane's coming up here before Ice Palace, I mean, man, like, that stealing the small key is, like, really paying out dividends for the lane and Donka here, because, you know, that one sword advantage, you know, like, having a Master Sword over a Fighter Sword in Ice, you know, and especially later dungeons like Ice Palace, right? I mean, it's just, like, it's just so good.
There is that. There is also the advantage of potentially being able to do sword beam strats, which is not something you can do with fighters. So, if the lane finds himself low on magic or just wanting to conserve a little bit, you can go ahead and just take that out. As grabbing some small keys here too, that's kind of interesting. Might as well just grab all.
Hello. Yeah, so okay, that is very interesting. Okay, so when jmeasher was up here in Paradox, he just grabbed the shovel and another sword, and his first sword. The lane, I guess, took a slightly more scenic route across all 5 chests, and there was actually also the Bombos medallion as well.
Yeah, something to consider is that jmeasher might not actually have to complete this dungeon. So far, it's, you know... After this? We are. Okay, so no fire in hand, so that is nice.
Okay, alright, so the lane actually just showed us what the shovel ends up yielding, which in this case actually was a small key of desert. So, remember when we said that the small key of desert could be buried? It literally is buried. Like, I think it's because you're on commentary here, Amber.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I have nothing else to say, but I'm sorry. It's literally buried.
So at least this is going to be good news for, you know, jmeasher is, you know, they've got the flute as well, so going back to desert and doing right side isn't going to be super bad. Ideally, of course, they would really like to go find a mirror at some point, because then you can get into desert even faster.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that small key being there, you might as well just grab it. It's for a mail and a sword upgrade, and depending on where the other 2 swords are, it might be the next easiest sword to grab.
Yeah. I mean, it's and yeah. Speaking of, so especially, you know, the lane coming back here to back in Skullwood. While I have every confidence in him that he's going to be able to do this fight with Fighter Sword and Hammer, having a Master Sword and boots, I mean, it's way nicer to be able to, you know, kind of fall back in case your Hammer hits don't necessarily hurt.
That's fair. It also allows you to pull off the equivalency of a tempered sword's worth of damage with the initial dash you can do.
No. Looks like jmeasher is trying to go back here, but he's maybe he's trying to farm something? Maybe he was trying to farm for magic? Because it looks like he was trying to take some time to kill those Ropas.
Yeah, probably trying to figure out what pack they were in, if I had to guess.
Yeah, and I mean, so unlike thalane, which you know, took down Moth pretty quickly, jmeasher here is on only Fighter Sword, and if he decides to pick up the small magic pot at the end, he's gonna have one fire shot to his name. So, you know, again, people can do Hammer Moth, especially, you know, I have every confidence in these runners. Oh, what?
Oh, I have every confidence
yeah.
in a clutch drop.
Yeah, holy cow. Alright, that was a really nice bailout.
You have every confidence in jmeasher, but the seed decided to give him a little insurance.
Yeah,
And
look at
man, that is
already,
not
yes.
insurance we're saying, Coach. Holy cow.
Yeah, Fire Rod here is especially nice when Moth does not want to cooperate, and you can get him like unstuck, right, from, you know, a couple corners. Not to mention, it just does damage to them. jmeasher does need to be a bit careful though. Moth does 2 hearts, Spikes do 1 heart.
Nice hammer hit there. I'm pretty sure it counted. That's unfortunate.
Oh no. Yeah, no, I mean, Moth is never easy. Looks like though jmeasher is going to continue. The magic is going to be a slight bit of an issue. That's probably the biggest concern.
Yeah, there's 4 magic pots that you can grab, and if you decide...
Oh my gosh. Never mind! Magic apparently is not an issue. So that means actually thalane ended up skipping half magic. You know, that's actually a very also interesting call. So this is also another thing is, you know, sometimes runners are concerned about like their, you know, safeties. Like, I'm not sure if I can do Moth on, you know, whatever equipment I have. Some runners are also be like, oh man, like I don't want to get that half. I don't need that heart container. It's too out of the way. It's gonna take too much time. I don't need to do it. And looks like actually that is a call that thalane and Doka have made. Either Doka just never told thalane about the half magic and bridge chest, or thalane, you know, knew about it and be like, I don't need it. Oh wow. Okay, but what a convenient item placement, right? Yeah, convenient.
I feel like jmeasher would call it convenient if he had grabbed it before the first stab.
But he, of course, knew, right? That's why he's farming the Ropas and like got the clutch magic, full magic drop beforehand. Maybe. All right, second time's the charm for jmeasher. Ends up taking down Moth. Have a bit more fire rush shots, of course, to his name. All right, it looks like actually we are gonna like, I mean, all intents and purposes, gonna be required double the desert. Well, I mean, for sure, because 1, Moth dropped the big key, and 2, Moon Pearl was here earlier, so yeah, we definitely want to have to come back here.
It's kind of interesting though that that mirror is, well, not buried because we've already pulled the shovel, but isn't making itself readily known since we're doing this the front way twice.
You mean we can't see the mirror right now? It's not the item location is not reflecting on us.
I know, it's a pain.
But you know, the good news, of course, for jmeasher is that now he's back here. Well, actually, never mind. He never got that Desert Small out of the dig spot, did he?
I think they both did, but I might be wrong.
Oh no, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're right. I do have memories now. My goldfish has evolved to something. That's right. Yes, I remember now. jmeasher. Okay, so yeah, I was gonna say this is really good news for jmeasher. He's gonna be able to get his food mail, and what's it? Master Sword. Though meanwhile, though thalane, of course, here he's got silvers. After you know grabbing them out of Ice Palace, and he's got the fire rod, so should be all set.
You know what he doesn't have? Half magic!
He does not have half magic. And you know what? Half magic is, it somewhat varies in terms of how I think some runners decide to rate it. Some people think it's, you know, very overrated. Some people think it's very underrated. But, you know, especially with that fire run and upper stairs PT, you know, depending on where that third sword is, right? It actually could come in quite helpful.
It's required.
It's required?
I very much enjoy being able to fling fire rod shots around. Alright, so there is land mode done, and we got a wonderful key to Mire for it.
Yeah, it's certainly very convenient in terms of you can skip the pot key. If there's anything else in Mire, by the way, it's going to be very convenient for routing.
Fill up your goose!
Yeah, the fact that thalane here has, I mean, like, I have to give a lot of credit to Duncan and thalane, just from, as you said earlier, their rupee management. You know, they farmed out the money, I guess, like, I mean, they basically have just enough, right, in order to be able to purchase that potion. And safeties, especially, you know, in spoil log, especially from a runner's perspective, is very, very valuable. Especially when you're going into Mire on 5 hearts.
Use the hammer on the bird!
I'm not sure if that's gonna happen.
No, it generally doesn't, but I say it in hopes that sometimes somebody will. Alright,
jmeasher looks like he can try and do silvers. Not quite the result probably he was hoping for in the first cycle, but it's like he recovers nicely.
Yeah, silvers can be kind of finicky. They lag just enough to throw you off if you're not used to it.
Yeah, of course. You know what is reliable though? Thalane's Mire 2 execution shows that he has practiced or played NMG once or twice. Very nicely done.
I'll tell you what, speaking of doing NMG once or twice, I think Thalane may have forgotten that he had a key, because you didn't need to grab that.
That is certainly very also possible. You appear on, you know, be basically autopilot. Or there is something over here, or he's just grabbing a lot more keys. How many keys do we need here for right side?
All of them.
Apparently, yes.
That's actually nice, grabbing something in here from the map chest. Okay,
yeah,
all
like
of our medallions.
Wait. Yeah, so actually it does, I guess I'm actually not quite sure.
You could have still gone left first, and then grabbed the key, and then... Oh no, because you did need that... No, yeah. You could have gone left first, and then gone right, and saved like a trip over to the right-hand side. Which jmeasher might show us. Yep.
Yeah, no, initially, I actually just kind of lost track of which medallions we needed. So it actually does look like that bomb post probably is not required, at least for medallion entry, and then, you know, Ice Palace being a pendant, and we already have the fire rod. It's like it's just going to be if you want to bomb post something later on to kill all the enemies in the stream type of thing. Of course, we are here in Dark Mire without a lamp. Thalane is showing us, though, that he doesn't need a lamp in order to get through the basement. Thalane is also letting us hear momentarily. Thank you, Thalane. What double heartbeats sound like? I appreciate you using the potion. Although it most likely is probably that he doesn't want to die here, because coming back here is really not fun.
I was gonna say, as much as I'm sure you appreciate the fact that we're not hearing a I don't think that potion was for you.
Maybe it's for his teammates who are also observing this race.
No.
Alright. Yeah.
Trust me, as someone, no, you don't. If anything, you want to like annoy your teammates as much as you can.
No,
I think that's how that's
Thalane here is a very good teammate. You know, he wouldn't certainly want to impose anything on his teammates. Speaking of though, so Thalane just like demolished Vitreous with his silver arrows. Was that another pot small on Vitreous?
It was, yeah.
Okay. So I think at this point, I guess jmeasher is going to be able to get the pot small off of Vitreous. Thalane has like 3 keys though to jmeasher's maybe 1, maybe 2 if he ends up picking up that other one from Link's house. But I mean, like this, like, is anything actually in pod at this point?
I mean, item-wise, we're still missing everyone's favorite, you know, Ice Rod and the mirror. key-wise, we're probably missing a little more than that, but maybe not.
Yeah, I think we got at least some. I mean, I guess we might be needing probably looking at like a turtle rock small or something. But like, okay, so if the mirror was in pod, like I feel like both RD Walsh and Duncan would have sent their runners like much earlier there to pod because the mirror is such a big item, right? It can prove so much more running efficiency. I don't know, and they were already over at yeah. So
Yeah,
maybe the mirror is
like
up here.
you're probably right in that pod doesn't have anything useful for us today. And there's a small key on the floating island though.
I wonder if we're ever gonna know what that small key on the island is.
I mean, I could go pull up the spoiler.
No. We're gonna wait and see if our runners end up picking it up today. I mean, my guess is it's unless it's a turtle rock small. I don't see them picking it up. Although something could still be in everybody's favorite tile room that's not GT. Yup. Well, so okay, from a runner's perspective, it's like sitting down there for like, I don't know, a minute isn't gonna be that much fun. I guess we're gonna, but from like a pilot's perspective, it's like another minute, that's another free minute to go try and come up with a better route.
Yeah, we're not getting that small key. Get your guesses in chat as to what it is if you want.
No, given that the lane looks like well, okay, actually no, we still couldn't even get it because no mirror in this case, but so we did pick up the ice rod.
Cool.
Yeah, so we have some RM, we've got both rods. We do have a hammer because we can actually get into Turtle Rock. Looks like jmeasher and RD Walsh are not going to dip in.
Yeah, well, it depends. I mean, really the only things we have left at this point are Swamp and TR, so...
No, but I guess I'm just slightly confused because, do they forget something? Because like, once the lane picked up the ice rod, like, they had every access into Turtle Rock, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that was a situation where jmeasher had one less key than he thought he did. Or, so maybe they were like, oh, we need to go get one more small for this? Not sure.
Oh, maybe he took the... Yeah, okay, I see. Okay, so right, so Chad is helping us out here. So apparently he did not actually open it, and yeah, so no mirror means that you can't just mirror and go right back in. You definitely need, unfortunately, to reclimb the mountain again. Hopefully this isn't going to make jmeasher and RD Walsh feel too bad.
It happens, and it's hard having a situation.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's hard having a situation where you have like the mirror as your go mode or penultimate item, because then you're used to just having the mirror at this point in the siege.
Yeah, I mean this mistake is particularly punishing, and like my guess maybe is potentially what could have happened, right? Is well, the pilot is not only like telling you got to do all these things, and one of the instructions, right, probably for this part is okay, go open up your back and then go to hookshot cave, get your ice rod, and then go back in, right? But it's like there are like 50 things flying at you, right, as a runner, and it's very, very easy to just in this case miss a step or two.
Yeah, very easily. It's a very data intensive workout, we'll call it.
Yeah. I mean, there's also been some debate about what's harder, right? Being the pilot or being the runner. And I mean, I don't know. I actually thought being the runner was actually it was a lot harder because at least as a runner, when you're just playing the seed without a spoiler log, like you are in control. You control the route. You're trying to like find these different things, and then like while you don't have to necessarily think as a runner here, your pilot is like trying to tell you all this information, and like it's definitely at a very different pace than maybe what you could be used to, right? Trying to like gather up your information and thinking about the things yourself. That was such a nice chomp dash on jmeasher's side. Yeah, very fortunate.
I mean, as my team's pilot, I would say that piloting is easier, and that's why I do it. But I know that my teammate probably disagree, so it just kind of depends. And it's a really good thing the lane took that safety door, because lasers hurt.
this is also really good foresight on the runner side. Oh, third sword. Oh, so comfortable. And a mirror. Alright, so the laser bridge, of course, it lives up to its name. Thalane. Oh man, and of course, yeah, I think he's also too high, so you couldn't actually get the free key dash in. Alright, so
there.
Yeah, so okay, so right, and of course the good part for Thalane is that he's on blue mail. This 4 heart is actually pretty crucial, just because if you're on green mail, everything goes 4 hearts, but if you're on blue mail, everything goes 3 hearts. So he at least is not in one-hit KO mode if the fight goes south. Looks like he's gonna start out with some nice backdoor strats. Thalane, please be careful. Okay, alright, just enough magic to get through phase 1. So now he just has to not touch the body, or the head or whatever. Oh no, sorry, he can't touch the head, and he'll be fine. He can touch the body.
I felt your anxiety just slowly climb during that fight.
Oh my gosh.
Fine, this is fine, this is less fine, this is less fine.
I don't think anybody planned for him to like ricochet into the spike. That was probably the worst like one hit escape.
Pinball to lane. jmeasher saying I don't need no stinking safety door.
Yeah, he looks pretty safe. Looks like he was unfortunately not low enough to get that key dash. Yeah, but like, since the Blaine was here on, what is it, like 4 hearts? Yeah, blue mail, and jmeasher's got a little bit more health, so. And he's got half magic, so I think he feels probably more comfortable just like spamming the fire rod, for example.
jmeasher, or Thalane, meanwhile, having a misflip there.
Maybe he just wanted to play the music of his people. For more entertainment, because he felt so bad for giving us a double heartbeats earlier.
I mean, Thalane was boots dashing through the flute, so unless you mean like playing the first note and a half of his people over and over and over again, I don't think I can agree.
I mean, maybe Thalane just likes the first part, the melody.
Right.
That was good. That was a really nice fight though on jmeasher's side.
Yep, nice Trinex, and now nice cape. That I think I would have grabbed that a little earlier, personally.
And this is going to be another one of those things where this potentially half magic is going to come in handy for jmeasher because, that means you can actually use the cape more freely.
Alrighty, so into Swamp we go, and with there being nothing we need, other than, do we have the big key to GT? We do have the big key to GT. Alright, so I think we're good, yeah.
Yeah, and I think we even have a small key to GT that was dropped. I forgot where, but it was out of boss or something, or it was it was a minor chat. So yeah, somewhere very convenient. So they don't even need to steal like the pot key on the left-hand side. So as you can see, it's going to be a nice like little minor time save.
Yeah, I was gonna say GT small keys are one of those things that, like, yeah, it's nice to have, but worst case scenario, you just steal one from somewhere. It's fine.
Yeah, but this is gonna be so if at this point it's the pilot's job is mostly finished, right? You can always try and find some other safeties, right, for your runner if there's a heart container along the way that's convenient, and especially this is also maybe another one of those times where the pilot could also kind of take a sneak peek over where their opponents are. So if you're ahead, for example, you certainly want to make sure that you stay ahead. So if there's a safety, maybe you're willing to take the 5 seconds to pick up another safety versus like if you end up dying, right, and you're gonna lose like 30 seconds to like a minute or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. That is most definitely what the pilot then changes doing. Like once you have the rest of the route figured out, even if you're like 1 or 2 items away from go mode, if you have everything figured out, then you start looking at your opponent, looking at where they are, looking at anything along the way, kind of going back through the full spoiler log and being like, okay, is there a heart somewhere that I can have them grab along the way that I deleted because we don't super need it, but might be helpful?
Yeah, so I mean, at this point, I am kind of curious to see where that powder is. Powder, I think, is probably one of those items where is very very much preferred when you go up to team. Thalane looks like he was trying to get the quick kill. Unfortunately, looks like movement was unfortunately not as convenient. But a good phase 2 with that fire rod.
Yeah, still a pretty quick 1 cycle there. Not bad. Not pulling the 0 cycle, but that's a really hard thing to get, and you have to kind of have the RNG for it too. So
yeah, and you know, actually just comparing like the equipment loadout here between Thalane and his teammate Ari, who ended up running his seed about 2 hours ago. So unfortunately, Ari I think had like Master Sword, bootsless fighting Argus. Thalay's got boots with tempered. I mean, just kind of like a world of difference for that fight. Not to mention the rest of the seed as well.
It's a good thing that Arier isn't the kind to hold a grudge, right? We're fine. Right?
Oh no, of course, right. I mean, and it's just that, I'm sure, like I said, Thalane is just getting boost time for both of them. Ari is a good teammate.
Alrighty, so time for jmeasher's attempt at an Argus here. Not even messing with the quick kill. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
It's super hard to get.
Yeah, and actually, just based on like the routes, it looks like between the 2 runners mainly doesn't actually look terribly different. I think we saw maybe like for example, like jmeasher went up to Paradox a little bit earlier, and Thalane ended up I think going over to I don't know, like Desert a little bit earlier, something like that, right? The main bulk of the route has been, I would say, relatively the same between 2 runners. Looks like the main difference is though is that looks like Donka opted to at least route in a bit more like item safety, like bottles, versus like jmeasher and RD Walsh got him like some more hard containers.
Yeah, and the safeties are a little different too, with half magic on one side, and then as you said, kind of the bottles and stuff on the other.
Yeah, and actually it does look like maybe we routed a couple extra hotkeys that maybe we didn't need later, but you especially like for how convenient the hotkeys were, you much rather just pick them up and then just say like, oh okay, sorry about the 15 seconds spent, right? Versus the sorry, let me go back to desert and spend another minute.
Yeah, it's especially early on. It's really difficult to kind of know everything that you need and don't need. So
yeah, I mean, right. Pilots get the spoiler log at race start, and you don't have like a lot of time to figure out okay, how many hotkeys do I need, and because you're trying to frantically figure out how to even like get to like where's my first glove, where's my first where's my hammer type of thing.
What in CAC?
Yes. Yeah, but so hopefully though with boots, tempered sword, blue mail, trying to think. He does have a potion, I believe, because he went out his way to get it, and he hasn't used it yet. So yeah, so he should be relatively safe. We do see him taking that safety door, and because chances are Thalane knows that he's he's ahead, and there's no reason for him to risk dying.
Absolutely. Now it's just the gauntlet, which is so named because it's a pain in the butt, even though these guys are probably going to make it not look like a pain in the butt.
I mean, Thalane is just kind of like flying through, although we do kind of see the consequence of picking up the safety room. Thalane, I'm sure, would like the full health, but I'm sure he would like to ditch those sword gains. Alright, mission accomplished. Thank you, Beebos.
And now it's everyone's favorite Landmo. Landmo with laser beam. Landmo with laser beam complete. 4 hours remaining.
That was very fast. Well done, of course, on the lane side. jmeasher, though, not too far behind. He is making his way also through the gauntlet. This is going to be just a pure execution battle.
Yep, and both of our runners are relatively low on arrows at this point, so, you know, just a thing.
Yeah, so at least there is going to be a 5-arrow pot drop, and pre-Molten 2 room. Very commonly, I mean, I think it's just part of people's multi memory at that point. You know, and so long as thalane and jmeasher don't need more than, like, you know, whatever, 10 arrows to beat Ganon, I think we're good.
Nice key grab there.
Yeah, oh man. Alright, so jmeasher needs to make his way through the gauntlet. I think it looks like he did not stop by safety. And given that, you know, I guess we don't know where Powder is at this point, thalane is actually coming into Atom 2 though with full health, which is really great news. Basically that's exactly what you need Powder for anyway. jmeasher though needs to at least hope like for like a berry drop at this point, which I think was part of the enemy drop pack. So he just has to survive until then.
Alright, so thalane is going to be walking into the Ganon fight with 4 arrows.
Let us hope that his phase 4 silvers goes well. Oh, it's so close to a triple.
I was gonna say, that Aga 2 almost went really well. Holy cow. Get out of here! What are these patterns?
Was that a double or a triple? Alright, the second one counted as a triple, which is great. Sometimes, like, with the energy shots so close together, it's really hard to tell. But, you know, thalane ends up getting, what is it, 2-3-1? Something like that?
Yeah, 2-3-1.
Yeah, it's good. Alright, looks like the jmeasher though, very quickly nearing Molten 2, probably taking a little bit of time to make sure that it doesn't lose any extra health when he's picking up that last key. Alright, confirming. Alright, okay, so Dunka is in chat. His pilot confirming that thalane is very confident in his phase 4 Silver's execution. Hope. I think, so there was actually one race, I think he was playing ladder, and he ended up, unfortunately not having as great a phase 4 fight, ended up losing the race by 37 frames. So hopefully that's not going to happen here. It doesn't look as close here.
Dunka, did you at least get like a license plate on the bus that you just ran him over with? Holy cow.
No.
I told him!
I mean, no, you know, Dunka is just making sure that we know exactly who to ask for credit when thalane's phase 4 fight goes perfectly. 1. Just barely misses his force switch. Not important though. 2-3. Nobody, no, every confidence in thalane's silver fights. Alright, with that, very well executed. Thalane's just gonna have to cross this bridge, and then he's going to claim victory, assuming he doesn't fall. He does not fall, thank you. Alright, do we have an official time?
I do, yeah. Thalane has finished in first place with an official racetime.gg time of 56 minutes and 30 seconds as jmeasher drops it.
Alright, get your GGs out in chat if you haven't already for thalane claiming victory. So I think this makes, is this 2-0 now for Error 216?
I do not know.
Okay, I thought Ari won his race earlier, so hopefully this should be, this is 2-0, but Ari, feel free to correct me. Alright, so jmeasher though, on his Ganon fight, looks like he is actually making very highly use of that cape and half magic. He is on blue mail, so these fire bats will kill him at this rate, or if he gets hit.
Does have an additional 2 arrows though. Okay.
Do you ever get nervous when you see, like, you know, like your sprite on like the leftmost side, and like you know you'll fall right now, but it's like you know like the tiles are gonna drop, right? I don't know. I'm always nervous.
I'm always nervous when I play this darn game. That's why I pilot it.
Oh, alright. Looks like jmeasher really wanted that triple, but didn't want to risk his extra arrow. Didn't actually look like it was going to land anyway, but very, very close race here. Basically just a Ganon fight away. jmeasher has defeated Ganon, and he will get second place.
Yep, crossing the bridge here, and jmeasher finishing with an official racetime.gg time of 58 minutes and 12 seconds. And I swear, every time I say racetime.gg time, I have to like pause because I want to say SRL. And that's just not factually correct.
Yeah, I don't actually remember the last time we had an SRL race. Like it was quite a long time ago.
I know, I'm showing my age.
No. It's just like I think after race time came in, I think everyone just kind of popped over it. Let's see if we can get some of these runners in though for an interview. If they're willing to talk about the seed.
Yeah, that was insane. Sub-hour for both of them. Really well done. The seed did them a couple of favors. We didn't even have to go into pod. Our pendants were fairly well untouched, I would say, overall. The mail, relatively early if you're willing to steal a key, ended with, 3 swords, silvers. It was relatively nice overall, I'd say.
Yeah, looks like we're actually joined by jmeasher and Artie Welsh. Cheers, guys.
Yo, thanks.
So thoughts about the seed? How went for you guys?
Well, I mean the seed was pretty straightforward. It really, I feel like this just kind of came down to mistakes. Obviously I don't know what happened on their end, but the not grabbing the half magic before Moth, and then just having a complete breakdown mentally, jumping off before opening up TR really cost us, and what otherwise would have been a pretty dang close race, I feel like.
Yeah, that certainly seemed like, so I think we were certainly very curious about what happened, I guess, on top of Turtle Rock. I think maybe another thing that was different was when you guys were both in desert. I think you left after the Moon Pearl and Flippers. Thalane and Dunka ended up stealing the small key from the back, and then they sequence broke out the right side then and there. So they had their first sword and mail early, as opposed to I think you guys went back. It seemed to at least like that extra sword at least seemed to buy them a bit more time.
Yeah, I think we didn't realize what was over there yet.
Yeah.
We hadn't really fully puzzled that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't usually think of the desert key steal when I'm playing, so that's not really something that like ever pops into my mind. Like even when I'm doing cross keys, like I don't really go for that play. So yeah, that doesn't really cross my mind. I'm like, oh hey, there's stuff in the small key room. I wonder where that small key is. So yeah, like that would have probably been more beneficial overall, because like then like what we could have done was just like, we would have had, like obviously we would have had the Master Sword for like Moth, which would have been a little bit helpful, but also like we would have been able to like mirror and do Landmo like just after like just without going through like all the extra screen share distance, which might have been nice, but that's on me. I just didn't catch that little bit of minor efficiency.
Yeah, I mean it's hard like as the pilot because there's so much, especially early game, that you're having to look for. And trying to make sure that your runner has a clear path, like a clear goal at least in the short term. So that can be difficult.
Yeah, and like I think at that moment, like when you were in desert, like I was more trying to like piece together, like because I knew that like you were going to be going to Thieves Town pretty soon because the myths were in the back, and I'm just like, okay, does it have to be a swordless tip? It's going to be a swordless tip. Okay, well, good luck with that, dude.
The other thing there was that. There was a pod small key on the desert ledge, so I asked about that, and Walsh told me what it was, and then I was like, okay, is there anything in pod that we need? Like, do I need to go grab that small key? So that's more what we were focused on when we were in desert the first time.
And it is so hard as a pilot, because like your first 10 to 15 minutes are just mental screaming. You're just screaming the whole time.
Hey,
my whole life is mental screaming, but especially like pilot, obviously we're down our pilot from last season. Papa Kitty was like really just tremendous at this, and like trying to fill her shoes is just really difficult, and like it's just like trying to like keep organized, like keep focused on what jmeasher's doing. Like, you know, I didn't even like look at the stream for 30 minutes, but yeah, you know, I tried.
Hello.
We're joined by thalane. GG's champ. This is actually your second victory of the day, right?
Yes. GG's.
Yo, GG's.
Man.
Yeah.
Mouse, yes?
Yeah. I don't know what to say, because it feels a little bit shitty with the medallion mishap, and I just... So for us, like, I was somewhere in T-Rock, and then Duncan was like, oh, he's resetting. What is he doing? He like, did not know what's going on, right?
Yeah, just to like go into that a little bit more. On our way up, I mean, we were kind of trying to make sure to hammer home. We need to go to Hookshot Cave first. Like, we need to get that ice rod before we go into TR. Like, don't forget that. And man, these races. There's so much pressure. Like, obviously, we thought like the pilot has a lot of pressure early, but I feel like a lot of that pressure shifts late to the runner.
Yeah.
Because any one little mistake and that could be it. Your execution has to be so tight. And I just had a complete like brain fart. Like, I was like, I need to, oh shoot, Hookshot Cave, right? I need to go get it. And I just jumped off before opening up TR, and that wouldn't be as bad normally, except that the mirror was in TR. So I literally had to completely reset, flute back up, and climb the mountain again. And I kind of knew at that point. I was like, "Oh, we're done." That kind of mistake is race losing in this format.
I guess it also seemed like the seed, relatively speaking, was somewhat linear. Like, I didn't really see like much we didn't see much divergence between your two routes. I mean, maybe like some minor things here and there.
Yeah, late mirror will kind of do that. Like, it just kind of felt like everything was just like kind of on a pretty direct path, which is, you know, nice for the pilot, but yeah, it's not the most entertaining thing in the world because like you don't have like, you know, just you're not really trying to like route everything in super efficiently. You're just like, okay, well, there's progression here, so go here. You know, there's no sense in trying to combo this with something because mirrors are go mode, you know.
Yeah, because I was thinking like Lamp was in the shooter room, like the very first room of pod. So I was like, oh, you know, hey, we'll go when we go to Eastern. We'll do a quick dip into pod, grab that lamp. It'll help us down the road. And Walsh was like, yeah, about that.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted powder, you could have gotten powder.
Oh yeah, where was powder?
Dark basement, if I remember correctly. You know, just get a couple small keys and yeah, just sink a minute into getting that powder. It's fine.
Oh, so pod didn't have anything required, but it had a bunch of stuff that would have made your life easier. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is that why you guys ended up getting like a bunch of pod smells, Elaine? Because like I don't think jmeasher got any.
No, we didn't know at the point yet, so that's why we just grabbed them because they were like nearby. I also opened a bunch of chests on accident.
Yeah.
But I think stuff like that just happens, so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I think we got slightly confused when you started opening up everything in Paradox. We're like, wait, D small, you were already there. Like, what? And then you go to like, you got Bombos, and then we're like, oh, maybe it's required, basically. Because I think jmeasher just opened up, what was up there? A sword and shovel?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Duncan said I need the middle left, the middle, and I think the far right chest, and then he said, oh no, we don't need bombos, but you can grab it if you want, and I was like, yeah, sure, let's just be safe, right, for Ice Palace maybe? Or, actually, we didn't need to fight the boss anyway. Okay, then maybe we didn't even need it, but it's fine. I just grabbed it, and then I got confused a bit, and just opened every chest. I was like, okay, might as well just open everything and be safe.
Yeah, that's for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, I opened up everything in Hype Cave, even though there really wasn't anything in there. We were in like a transition point where we were trying to get our next route up, and I was just like, well, he said there was a heart container in Hype. I'll just grab that really quickly.
Oh, that's where you got the other one. Yeah, so we missed one in the Cagwell because I think Duncan misread a little, and I did not open the first chest, but the other three. And then I was like, okay, he said it was 2 heart containers, but I'm not gonna ask, right? Because I was already gone. And then yeah, he pointed out that you guys have like 2 more heart containers, and I was like, yeah, one is in well. And then he got angry at me and said, "Why did you not pick it up?"
What?
I was like,
Oh man.
I was like, yeah, about that.
I will say that conversations between the runner and the pilot do tend to be charged at moments just because everything is going on so fast. Like, did you pick that up? No. Wait, what? What? And it goes from like very calm to very pointed and potentially very loud in like 2-3 words.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't like aggressive or anything. He was just like, "Why did you not pick it up?" I was like, "Oh, I mean, you didn't really tell me that chest has it."
Oh, actually, I guess now that you mentioned it, like, did you know about half magic in Soul Woods?
Yeah, but at this point it was very close, and I think you guys were slightly ahead, or like our opponents were slightly ahead, right? So I was like, okay, we're not grabbing that. And then like I was already in ice, and then they died, and then they picked it up for like the magic refill. So yeah, there was like no way I would come back to get it.
Yeah, I mean, again, as I said before, I really should have just grabbed it. That was just some. I was like halfway across the bridge when I was like, oh, maybe I should have grabbed half magic first. I was like, well, I can beat this boss. And then Moth did Moth things and wouldn't leave the top of the room. So
Yeah, especially if your like pilot says, "Hey, look out! It's like very close. Maybe we cannot afford this," and then you're like, "Yeah, this is fine, right? We can do it." And then
Yeah.
that's when things go down.
Like Walsh mentioned, like after TR mentioned that the gold sword was down in the push block room and swamp, and we were wondering if you guys were going to get it, and I was like, I'm definitely skipping that now. Like, I have to try and make up time here if they're going to go grab that. But
yeah, I think we would have grabbed it if it was in any other chest, like even the one that you bombed the wall, but the one where you go all the way around, it's like no.
Is that compass?
Yep.
I don't know.
So,
yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, the one below the big chest is what I have to call it.
The south chest in swamp is the compass.
Yeah, there we go.
Map chest is the bombable wall.
Yeah. It's actually really interesting sometimes to hear like what different pilots and runners like refer to different chests are, because like, you know, as a pilot, right, all you see is in the spoiler is like map chest, compass chest, and it's like if you like don't know which one that is, it's like I don't know. It's like then, yeah.
That's definitely a point of translation where you have to not only know what the spoiler log is telling you, but be able to translate it to your runner as quickly and succinctly as possible. Because if you're like, yeah, it's the map chest and swamp, and they think it's the southern one, well then you're gonna skip the bombable chest, which is technically the map chest. So
yeah, I was actually also say like, and like for Skull Woods at the time, right? There was actually another difference, right? Because thalane, like you sequence work out the right side of the desert, got your sword early, you were on Master Sword, and then jmeasher, like you were on still on Fighter Sword at the time. So like, thalane like had a much nicer fight, or a much more comfortable fight.
Yeah, about that sequence break though, I totally blanked out because I was walking left and I asked Dunker, "Hey, what's that small key on Desert Ledge?" And I think he was like answering that, so I was like, okay, might as well just grab it. So I grabbed that and then went back into desert all the way to right side, and then realized, wait a second, I did not steal the key from the back. So I had to go all the way back and around again, and it was that cost us like a good like 2 minutes or something. That was not good. But yeah, again,
really hard to quantify how much time that extra sword saves you. I mean, it definitely does.
Oh yeah, that's also true.
But yeah, I don't know. I felt pretty good about my hammer blind. That went really well.
Oh yeah, that was really good. That was another difference too, because thalane had a sword at blind, and you just had the hammer.
Yeah, but obviously it would have been really like, I feel like I probably don't die to Moth if I have that extra sword. So, you know.
Yeah, my bad.
No, I mean, you know, like I said, we were discussing other stuff, so it's hard to make that connection really quickly when we're looking at
also, as you said earlier, this is very, very stressful for the pilot, like at the very beginning, and then for the runner in late game. Like I said it to Dunker, you do not want to know like whether you're ahead or not. Like both information is like very stressful for you, right? Unless you're like a good chunk ahead, like 3 minutes or something, and then it's like a little bit comfy.
I didn't ask until I made the TR error, and then I was like, okay, how far? Tell me how far behind I am.
Oh, okay.
How screwed am I now?
Yeah.
Just put me out of my misery.
Yeah, as a pilot, I don't think I've shared any. I don't share anything with the runners unless either they ask or unless they're like 4 minutes ahead, and I'm like, yo, calm, it's okay, just play the game, you're good. And then I'm not explicitly telling them like, hey, you're 3 minutes ahead, but I'm telling you, calm yourself, don't do something stupid, we're fine.
Yeah, Walsh had to do that for me after both mistakes, because for our group at least, we don't get fiery with each other. Most of the abuse is self-inflicted.
Yeah.
So Walsh had to just, it's all right, this stuff happens. So excuse my language.
Good save.
Well, at least your doubleheader is over for this week, so no more pilot spoiler. For better or for worse.
Yeah, cross keys. I don't have to play it, so I'm happy.
Oh yeah, that's right. Next week is cross keys. So you said you didn't. So that means actually, who are the other two that are going to be playing it?
Walsh and Plasma Kappa.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
For cross keys.
Yeah. Okay. Should be. Sounds very comfy. Do you guys have plans yet, Thalane?
Yeah, me and Ari. That's why
Cool.
Duncan had to pilot this week.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Because
Well,
he passed on what is it called? Cross keys and Animizer because he hates both of those.
That's a mood. That is such a mood. Like I didn't pass on cross keys, but I would love to have passed on Animizer.
But this is like part of the fun, right, of League, is that you get to everyone has their different preferences, so you could just kind of pick and choose which ones, you want to play and don't want to play.
Yeah, and I mean, most of the time you get to play like one mode that's like not your favorite mode, but that's fine. Most of it is pretty cool.
One of our Duncan and I have that in common. Our dislike for cross keys. One of our big requirements when we were looking for a third after last season was whoever it is needs to want to play cross keys. Yeah. I don't want to do it, and I'm not that great at it. So
that's the only reason I have a spot in any team, because they're like, oh, you like cross keys? Okay, good.
Plasma Cap is pretty good though. I mean, you guys picked up a very solid teammates. So.
Yeah, he's been fantastic so far. I mean, obviously, we would have liked today to go a little differently, but we're still in really good shape. I feel like these last 2 weeks were always going to be the hardest for us with spoilers and Air 216. So we came out of it with 1 win out of 4. So hard to complain too much, and hopefully next week goes well. We can secure a spot.
In playoffs, right? Yeah, certainly best of luck to both your teams moving forward. Do you guys have any more thoughts before I think we wrap this restream up?
I just wish that we do not get any spoiler mode next season. That's all.
Wow!
Maybe
we're gonna redact that from the VOD, Thalane. Thanks for contributing.
Maybe all the rules lawyering will do that for us, but I'll just say GG's again. GG's again. Thank you guys for the restream as well.
Or at least make it so that it does not get forced on pretty much everyone.
No, you can't recover from that. You as a pilot, I feel personally attacked.
I'm pretty sure Fear already confirmed inverted key sanity for next season. So.
Oh.
Yo, inverted key sanity next season? I'm
yeah,
down.
See?
Yeah, I'm down as well.
That's where you at, Duncan. All the kings.
All right, not playing League next season. Great.
Cool. I mean, I want to say thank you guys so much for running. It was actually a really fun race to watch and to call for. So, and of course, thank you so much for putting up forth all this time to be able to do so.
Yep. While we're here, give these guys a follow because I mean, honestly, you complete the seed in under an hour. Well, the 4 people in front of you, give them a follow. If you guys aren't done watching Rando, I do believe we have a couple more on the docket. Let's see what time it is. It is 5:48. Okay, so we do have at least one more confirmed for tonight. It's going to be starting in about 2 hours and change, 8 o'clock Eastern. That's Orange versus Gamachu on the ALTTPR League. That's all we have for tonight. We do have some that are hopefully going to be restreamed tomorrow, and that'll end up being the last day for our spoiler Key Sanity week. If you have not gotten enough rando in general, make sure you follow the ALTTPR League channels. I believe it's the ALTTPR League and then the ALTTPR League 2 through 4, I want to say. 4 isn't used often, but I believe it comes out every now and again. That being said, that's pretty much all I've got. Shout outs to our wonderful tracker, Scott G239, who was hitting the buttons at just Mach 4 because it's a spoiler log. And shout outs to my co-com Clearmouse. That's all I've got if you want to take us out.
Oh yeah, no, thanks Hammer. Thank you for commentating this race as well. Lots of rando, and of course, as Hammer said, these guys are awesome runners, awesome pilots. Very worthwhile to be supportive of. Until then, have a great night.